Hey folks, Erik the Viking back here again. I haven't been on here for quite a while because I was having problems with the webcam. Stupidly, I somehow had the microphone set to just so it was recording from the computer, so I thought the microphone was broken. Anyway, fixed now, which is good. I don't have to buy another one. I just sort of posted a couple of videos that before I go to work today. Yes, it's a Sunday and I'm working tonight. I work as a caretaker basically, so a sort of theatre, so I'm locking up tonight, which will be fun. Hence the uniform. I work for the council, which is there. Anyway, enough about my job. I thought I'd show you guys some of the stuff I've been buying recently. I'm always buying stuff, as I'm sure most of you guys are. Yeah, I'd like to say hi as well to everyone in the vinyl community, or the VC. I am quite new to all this, but it's nice to see that people are gradually sort of picking up on my stuff. First I was thinking, why is no one watching my videos? But of course it takes time. So I'm just going to keep posting and keep commenting, and yeah, it's great. So yeah, I've got a couple of singles recently. Got a nice classic here. Got an original English factory sample, which is basically like a promo of the classic 96 Tears by Question Mark and the Mysterians. Brilliant track, as I'm sure you know, and it's a really nice copy. I picked this up in a charity shop, which is kind of like a thrift store, you know, that kind of thing. Absolute classic. I mean, this is, you know, sort of garage punky, isn't it, really? It's just one of my favourites. And the Residents did a great cover of this on their third rock and roll album as well, tucked away in the middle somewhere. I got this really nice, take out the sleeve here. This is a recent, fairly recent, like last 10 years reissue of a really obscure funk single from Texas by James Polk and the Brothers, Power Struggle, on Gerald Short's Funk 45 label. Lovely label. I mean, even these are, I mean, the original's like a 4-figure record, you know, it's impossible to find, but even these are nice, you know, really well pressed. It's a great track, really gritty funk. And also from Gerald Short as well, I didn't buy it from him personally, from his main label, Jasmine, we've got Afrobeat by Nino Nardini with Poltergeist on the B-side. These are both like library albums, library music tracks that were hidden on albums somewhere. I think they're Italian. And the best two tracks that he did, I also did a really good one called Tropical as well, which I've also got somewhere. But yeah, Jazzman and Funk 45, anything you see on those labels are worth getting, and they are getting quite hard to find now. That's all the singles I've got recently. Got some nice albums as well, quite a few actually. Right, who's heard of this guy? Zoogz Rift. How can you beat a name like that? Basically, this guy, who sadly passed away a few years ago, was a massive Zappa and Bebop fan. He was also a wrestler. You can tell, he's a pretty big guy. No, there he is, sorry. I heard about him because years ago on MySpace, I had a profile on there with my own music on it and blah blah. I think I've still got it, but I don't really use it. Anyway, he added me. And I thought, oh, this guy looks cool, you know, strange name, Zoogz Rift, checked him out, loved the music. I sent him a message saying, why did you add me? And he said he thought I had an interesting name. So that was it really. I spoke to him a few times, he was a really cool guy. Anyway, this is his first album from '79, Idiots on the Miniature Golf Course. It sounds a bit, you know, bizarre, which it is, you know, the lyrics are ridiculous. And the music is just imagine Lick My Decals era B-part, it's that kind of thing. Lots of marimbas and weird bass and guitar shit going on. And most of the instruments on this album are by Richard Haas, who is a really cool multi-instrumentalist. Really clever guy. Good album, and this is a private, I think it's a sort of private pressing on the Snout label with the lyric insert, so that's a nice one. Give you a quick look at the label there. Yeah, you don't see it. I've seen this come up for sale a couple of times, but it's usually been in pretty shitty condition. But this is a really nice copy. I paid £15 for this, which I thought was pretty good. And again, this guy's still relatively unknown, but he's well worth checking out. And This album was later reissued on the SST label, which was home to the Minutemen and Dinosaur Jr. and people like that. I've also got one of his other albums, Island of Living Puke. I mean, look at that. This is from '86, a bit later on. This is the only other album of his I have, which is on SST. This is just as insane. Not as good, but still pretty out there. This was actually the first album of his I heard, and these are the only two albums I've heard. I need to check out more of his stuff, really. This was sealed when I got it. And I opened it because I play my records. Yeah, nice stuff, and you can get this relatively cheap still. Next, Blow or BLO, Afro Funk Legends. They were sort of like, how can I put it, the rockier side of Afro Funk. A lot of Hendrix kind of guitar solos going on, but still funky as hell. This is the compilation that came out on the Strut label in 2002, I think, 2004. Nice double album, and it'll save you a lot of money if you can't afford the originals, which are nigh on impossible to find anyway. This is the only Blow thing I have. I've heard all their albums, they're really good. I have a lot of nice Nigerian fella pressings, which I'll show you one day. Really good stuff. Really nice album. It's got some great tracks on it. And I mean, this is getting quite hard to find now as well, because obviously these were all done in quite small quantities, but you can find it, get it. Next up, I'll take this out of the sleeve. Green Visions Classic. This was another one that was sealed when I got it, and of course I opened it. And it is an original pressing, and I don't know how I got it so cheap. It's not one of his best albums, but to me, Grant Green is one of the best. Sorry, the glare. One of the best jazz guitarists, jazz funk guitarists. He was just amazing, and of course left this earth way too soon. Brilliant album. I mean, like I say, I like most of his stuff. My favourite of his albums is probably Green is Beautiful from '69. He does a great cover of Ain't It Funky by James Brown. But this is still a good album. It's got a nice cover of Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is? Classic track by Chicago, of course. It's got a nice cover of Cantaloupe Woman, We've Only Just Begun. And of course you've got Idris Muhammad on drums as well. Nice cover of Never Can Say Goodbyes on here as well. Good album. Next up, another recent discovery of mine. Don't know if you guys have heard of this guy, William S. Fisher, on Herbie Mann's Embryo label. I mean, this is a very experimental label. Quite a bit of free jazz is on there. There's Brute Force's first albums on, well, only albums on there. They were a band featuring one of the best guitarists ever, Sonny Sharrock. Great album, which I also have, which I'll show one day. The great thing about this label is every sleeve had a die-cut centre. It wasn't always a circle. But this album, musically, is... he was just an arranger, William S. Fisher. He plays keyboards and Moog on this. You've got Billy Cobham on drums, Ron Carter on bass, Hugh McCracken, Erik Weisberg on guitar. You can't go wrong with a lineup like that. The music is funky as hell. There's quite a bit of rock in there. Almost progressive, some of it, and then there's like some insane early Moog workouts, which is just spacey as hell. I mean, this is 1970, pretty ahead of its time, and again, this is an album that not many people know about, but I'd highly recommend this. We'll just get a quick look at the label because it is beautiful. There we go, the Embryo label. This was manufactured by Atlantic. Again, this is a really nice copy. You've got to be very careful with this sleeve, which is why it's going back in the plastic. Yeah, great album. I'd recommend it if you like that kind of stuff. Not as spacey as Sun Ra, but still pretty out there. Next up, another classic, which I don't know why I didn't own. Cameos' first album, Cardiac Arrest. That's my favourite album in my opinion. You've got the proper P-Funk vibe going on here. It's got Postmortem on it, Rigor Mortis, still feels good. Great album. This isn't well, the sleeve's a bit tatty, but it's on the lovely original Chocolate City label. Yeah, classic album, can't go wrong. Killer grooves. Next up, another guy who I absolutely love, who still isn't getting the recognition he deserves. Well, I say that, I mean, I don't hear much about him. Edwin Birdsong. I first heard about him, like most people, because he was a frequent collaborator with Roy Ayers. He co-wrote Running Away and stuff like that, and he appeared on them, Really good vocalist and keyboardist. He made 5 brilliant albums from 1971 to like 81. 5 albums in that period of time. It's not much. This is mainly famous because it's got Cola Bottle Baby. There's a nice promo here. Cola Bottle Baby, which was sampled by Daft Punk for Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. The riff at the beginning, identical. And to me, for 1979, this is miles ahead of its time. It's like disco from outer space. It's just brilliant. And this is a lovely white label promo. In fact, every copy I've seen, I had another copy of this which was wrecked, and I finally got a nice one. It's getting very hard to find, but every copy I've ever seen has been a promo. The stock copies must be very rare. And of course it's got the nice promo stamp on the back. Great album. Just really good. Anyone should check him out, and especially the album before this, Dance of Survival, which was a private pressing on his own label. It is his funkiest one, and actually the one before that, Supernatural, it is like Hendrix shit going on, and you listen to that album, you can see where people like Lenny Kravitz got their sound from. So he was pretty ahead of his time. I love Brazilian music, but I've only just got into Hermeto Pascoal, I think I'm saying it right, recently. I heard about him because he was on Miles Davis's Live Evil album, whistling and playing keys and drums. I thought someone that can whistle like that must be pretty out there on the track Little Church. This album is just phenomenal. It's produced by Airto Moreira, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Flora Purim, his wife. It's an American pressing that was on the Cobblestone label, which had a lot of decent jazz releases on it, manufactured by Buddha. There's also American pressing together this on the Muse label. I think this one came out first, but there's no year on it, so it's hard to say. I think this is actually his first album, and then he went back to Brazil and made some awesome albums over there. But it's really good. Some of it's almost Zappa-like with what's going on. He was just an incredible, well, still is, an incredible musician and arranger and composer, and it just does. I mean, there's one track on it. He's even got a photo of it, where he does a solo on, hang on, it says on the back, 36 apple juice bottles tuned with water. I mean, that says it all, man. It's just completely out there. Some of it's almost borderline. There's moments of it where it's getting a bit out there and free. But like I say, it's almost, some of it's Zappa-like Zappa's jazzier stuff. Really nice. That's probably why I like it so much. Completely different side of the coin now. Medicine, part of the shoegazer scene. I'd say one of the leaders of that scene, really. This album's just brilliant. These guys were around at the same time as My Bloody Valentine, and also on the same label, Creation. They were like the American My Bloody... No, wait. My Bloody Valentine American? That's embarrassing. Anyway, my brothers would kill me. My brothers got me into this album recently. My younger brothers, they're both into pretty similar music to me, and I'm in a band with one of them. Anyway, more of that another time. This album's just superb. It's just great. I think it came out in 92, yeah, 92. Sold next to nothing. Very legendary now. Hard to find on vinyl. I picked this up on Discogs. I'd recommend this if you're into the shoegazing scene, although if you are, you probably already know about these guys. Next up, another strange one. The ESP Disc Legends, the Gods. They were like the Fugs, but in Lester Bangs' word, more primitive. How can you get more primitive than the Fugs? Well, these guys certainly did. I don't think they could really play when they first started out, kind of like the Shags. Again, I love to get stuff in the ESP label, because it's... I mean, this label was just... for the 60s, this label was way ahead of anyone else. I mean, they were getting free jazz and everything. I think the guy that ran it, Bernard Stolman, I think he was a lawyer or something. Anyway, this is a great album, if you like that sort of stuff. Not to everyone's taste, of course. I think I'm running out of time. I might have time for the last two. I'll be quick. Next up, another classic, Suicide's first album. This is the English pressing. I love this album. One of my brothers had a go at me for liking this band. He absolutely hates them. I'm not sure why. I quite like minimalist stuff. I mean, yeah, I just think it's good. I love drum machines. I love keys. This has got it all. I mean, for its time, 1977, these guys were way ahead of anyone else. And this is a nice, I won't show you the label, I think at the time. UK pressing on the Red Star label, manufactured by Bronze. Very hard to find. And last but not least, another brilliant act, the Silver Apples. I'm sure you guys know about these. These guys were just insane. 1968. This is a lovely copy with the insert. I couldn't believe I got this, and I didn't pay much for it. It's an original pressing on the Cap label. Very hard to find. I mean, these guys were just mad. There's two of them. There was Simeon, who built his own early hybrid synthesizer out of loads of oscillators and called it the Simeon, and Dan Taylor on drums. It's unlike anything you've ever heard, really, and there's plenty of beats on it as well. Great stuff. Yeah, they only made 2 albums, and there was another one came out in the 90s, which I also have. I don't have the second one, I'm trying to get that. If anyone's got a spare, hook me up. That's it for now with my recent stuff. More to come. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.